The moment a narcissist sees strength in you, they panic. Not openly, but in silence, through control, guilt, manipulation, because your strength threatens their illusion. They don't want to lose you. They want to weaken you. And if you're not aware, they'll drain your peace piece by piece, while smiling to your face. Stay until the end, because the final tactic they use is the one that breaks the strongest people without them even noticing. Mirror shattering. When a narcissist encounters a strength in you that threatens their carefully constructed facade of superiority or their need for control, one of their primary, often unconscious tactics is to attempt to shatter your inner mirror, the reflection of your own worth, competence, and sanity. Your inherent strength, your clarity, your self-assurance acts as an uncomfortable mirror to their own deep-seated insecurities and voids. Because they cannot tolerate this reflection, and because they cannot genuinely elevate themselves to meet your strength with their own authentic power, which they often lack, they will instead endeavor to break your mirror, to distort your perception of yourself, to make you doubt your own light. This can manifest in myriad subtle and not so subtle ways. They might engage in persistent covert criticism, disguised as helpful advice or constructive feedback, chipping away at your confidence. They may subtly invalidate your experiences, your feelings, your perceptions, a tactic often known as gaslighting, making you question your own reality, your own sanity. You're too sensitive, you're imagining things that never happened. These phrases become tools to erode your trust in your own inner knowing. They might minimize your achievements or subtly take credit for them, ensuring that your light never outshines theirs. They may project their own flaws and shortcomings onto you, accusing you of the very behaviors they themselves are exhibiting. The hard truth is that this mirror shattering is a desperate attempt to regain a sense of control and to destabilize you, making you more pliable, more dependent on their validation, which they will then strategically withhold or dispense to keep you off balance. If your sense of self is strong, if your inner mirror is clear and polished through consistent self-awareness and self-acceptance, these attempts will largely fail to penetrate. But if you carry your own unhealed wounds, your own insecurities, their insidious chipping can find purchase, creating cracks in your self-perception. Recognizing this pattern is the first step in neutralizing its power. It is not about you. It is about their inability to tolerate your undiminished light. Your strength reflects their shadow, and their instinct is to extinguish the reflection rather than confront the shadow within themselves. Isolation weaving, another common strategy employed when a narcissist perceives you as too strong, too independent, or possessing a support system that makes you less reliant on them, is to subtly or sometimes overtly attempt to isolate you. Your strength is often amplified by your healthy connections, your trusted relationships, your sources of external validation and support that are outside of their direct control. This network of authentic connection makes you less susceptible to their manipulation, less dependent on their approval, and more resilient to their attempts to control or diminish you. Therefore, they may begin a careful, often insidious process of isolation weaving. This can involve subtly disparaging your friends, your family members, your colleagues, planting seeds of doubt about their loyalty, their intentions, or their character. Your friend doesn't really have your best interests at heart. Your family doesn't truly understand you like I do. Those colleagues are just using you. They might create drama or conflict between you and your support system, or demand an increasing amount of your time and energy, making it difficult for you to maintain those other vital connections. They may feign jealousy or insecurity, making you feel guilty for spending time with others, framing it as a lack of devotion to them. The ultimate aim of this isolation weaving is to make them the center of your universe, your primary or even sole source of validation, information, and emotional support. Once isolated, you become far more vulnerable to their influence, their control, their narrative. The hard truth is that this tactic is often executed with such cunning and subtlety that you may not realize it is happening until you find yourself feeling strangely disconnected, alone, and increasingly dependent on the narcissist for your sense of reality and self-worth. Your strength, which was once bolstered by a rich tapestry of connections, becomes gradually eroded as those threads are systematically, intentionally weakened or severed. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for self-preservation. Maintaining your healthy, authentic connections and being wary of anyone who consistently seeks to undermine them or monopolize your time to the exclusion of others is a vital act of energetic and emotional boundary setting. Your strength lies not just within you, but also in the wholesome bonds you cultivate. They seek to unravel this protective weave. Charm offensive renewed. When a narcissist realizes that their more direct attempts at control or diminishment are not working, or when they sense that your strength is causing you to pull away or to see through their manipulations, they may abruptly switch tactics and launch a renewed charm offensive, often referred to as love bombing or hoovering. This is a particularly disorienting and insidious maneuver. Suddenly, the criticism may cease, the negativity may lift, and they will shower you with an intense, often overwhelming display of affection, admiration, praise, and promises. They might apologize profusely for past behaviors, though often without genuine accountability or changed behavior, tell you everything you've ever wanted to hear, idealize you and the connection, and paint a beautiful picture of a future together. This intense influx of positive attention can be incredibly seductive, especially if you have been starved of validation or if you still harbor a desire for the connection to work. It can make you doubt your previous negative perceptions, leading you to think, maybe I was wrong, maybe they've changed, maybe this time it will be different. This charm offensive is designed to do several things. Firstly, to reel you back in if you have started to distance yourself. Secondly, to confuse you and disrupt your clarity, making it harder to trust your own judgment. And thirdly, to re-establish their control by making you once again dependent on their approval and affection, which they can then withdraw strategically at a later time to keep you ensnared. The hard truth is that this charm is often a carefully crafted performance, a calculated strategy rather than a genuine change of heart. The intensity and speed with which it is deployed are often red flags. True change is gradual, consistent, and demonstrated through actions, not just words or grand gestures. The narcissist's charm offensive, however, is often a temporary mask designed to disarm your defenses and pull you back into their sphere of influence. Once they feel secure that you are re-engaged and your strength is sufficiently compromised, the old patterns of manipulation and control are likely to resurface. Recognizing this cycle, idealization, devaluation, discard, and then often a renewed charm offensive to hoover you back, is crucial to breaking free from its grip. Your strength, your clarity, your unwavering commitment to your own well-being is what they seek to override with this sudden, disorienting flood of manufactured affection. Victim stance. If attempts to shatter your mirror, isolate you, or re-engage you through a charm offensive prove ineffective against your perceived strength and growing awareness, a narcissist may skillfully shift into a victim stance. This is a powerful manipulative tactic designed to evoke your empathy, your guilt, or your desire to rescue, thereby subtly shifting the power dynamic back in their favor and deflecting any accountability for their own problematic behavior. Suddenly, they may present themselves as deeply wounded, misunderstood, unfairly persecuted, or as the suffering party in your interactions. They might recount stories of past traumas, real or exaggerated, to elicit sympathy, or they may subtly or overtly blame you or external circumstances for their unhappiness or their problematic actions. You don't understand how much I'm suffering. Everyone is against me. If only you were more understanding, supportive, etc., then I wouldn't have to act this way. By casting themselves as the victim, they attempt to make you feel responsible for their emotional state, thereby obligating you to care for them, to appease them, or to retract any boundaries you may have tried to set. This tactic can be particularly effective if you are a naturally empathetic or compassionate person, as it plays directly on your desire to help and to alleviate suffering. The hard truth is that while it is important to have compassion for the genuine suffering that often underlies narcissistic patterns, as they are typically rooted in deep childhood wounding, It is crucial not to allow this compassion to be manipulated into enabling their destructive behavior or sacrificing your own well-being. The victim stance is often a strategic maneuver to avoid responsibility, to gain attention, and to control others through emotional blackmail or guilt. Your strength, your clarity, your ability to maintain healthy boundaries even in the face of their expressed suffering is what they are trying to undermine. Recognizing the pattern of them consistently defaulting to a victim narrative, especially when confronted with their own actions, is key. True strength involves offering compassion from a place of detached wisdom without becoming enmeshed in their drama or taking responsibility for their choices and their healing, which is ultimately their own sacred task. Your empathy is a strength. They seek to turn it into a vulnerability for their own gain. Flying monkeys. When a narcissist perceives your strength as a significant threat and their direct attempts to control or diminish you are failing, they may resort to enlisting flying monkeys, a term used to describe third parties whom the narcissist manipulates into supporting their narrative, harassing you, or otherwise acting on their behalf. These individuals may be friends, family members, colleagues, or even acquaintances who have been charmed, deceived, or coerced by the narcissist into believing their distorted version of reality. The narcissist will often present themselves as the victim to these third parties, painting you as the aggressor, the unstable one, or the source of all problems. They are adept at triangulation, creating drama and division, and using others as unwitting or sometimes witting pawns in their campaign to discredit you, isolate you further, or pressure you into compliance. Suddenly, you may find yourself receiving unsolicited advice, criticism, or even accusations from people who were once neutral or even supportive, now echoing the narcissist's talking points. This can be incredibly disorienting, painful, and can make you feel as though the whole world is against you, further eroding your sense of reality and self-worth. The hard truth is that the enlistment of flying monkeys is a desperate, cowardly tactic employed when the narcissist feels their direct control over you slipping. They are attempting to control you indirectly through social pressure, reputational damage, or by creating a hostile environment. Your strength, your integrity, your refusal to be drawn into their games is what they are trying to break down by sheer numbers or social consensus. Dealing with flying monkeys requires immense discernment and unwavering commitment to your own truth. It is often futile to try and convince them of your perspective, as they are usually already deeply enmeshed in the narcissist's reality distortion field. The most effective strategy is often to maintain firm boundaries with these individuals, to refuse to engage in the drama, and to focus on nurturing your connections with those who genuinely know, trust, and support you. Your unwavering adherence to your own authentic experience, despite the chorus of manipulated voices, is a testament to your inner strength. They seek to overwhelm your truth with a manufactured consensus. Your steadfastness is the shield. Escalation, devaluation intensified. If your strength continues to resist the narcissist's manipulations, if you maintain your boundaries and do not succumb to their charm, victimhood, or social pressure, they may resort to an intensified cycle of devaluation or even outright aggression, sometimes followed by periods of feigned remorse or renewed charm if they fear they have pushed you too far towards permanent disengagement. This escalation phase is often a sign of their growing desperation and their inability to tolerate their loss of control over you. The devaluation can become more overt, more cutting, more personal. They might engage in character assassination, openly mock your values or achievements, or try to provoke you into a reactive state where you appear unstable or unreasonable, thereby proving their narrative about you. In some cases, this can escalate to verbal abuse, emotional blackmail, or even, in extreme situations, threats or other forms of intimidation. This is a dangerous phase, as the narcissist, feeling their powerlessness, may lash out in increasingly destructive ways. The hard truth is that this escalation is not a sign of your failure, but a testament to your strength in resisting their control. They are, in essence, throwing a tantrum, upping the ante in a desperate bid to break you down, to force you back into a submissive or compliant role. It is absolutely crucial during this phase to prioritize your safety, emotional, psychological, and sometimes even physical. This may mean strengthening your boundaries to the point of complete disengagement or no contact, seeking support from trusted friends, family, or professionals, and refusing to be drawn into their escalating drama. Your calm, unwavering refusal to engage with their provocations, your steadfast commitment to your own peace and well-being is the most powerful response. This is not about fighting fire with fire, but about recognizing that you do not have to participate in their destructive games at all. Your strength lies in your ability to disengage, to protect yourself, and to choose peace over their manufactured chaos. They are trying to provoke a reaction that will justify their narrative. Your non-reactive centered strength is their ultimate frustration. Final discard or feigned indifference. Ultimately, if a narcissist consistently fails to control, diminish, or manipulate a person they perceive as too strong, and if that person successfully maintains their boundaries and their energetic sovereignty, the narcissist may eventually resort to a final discard, or alternatively, adopt a stance of complete, feigned indifference. The final discard, in this context, is often abrupt, cold, and designed to inflict maximum pain and confusion, leaving you feeling abandoned and worthless. It is their way of trying to regain a sense of power and control in the end by being the one who ends it, often without closure or explanation. They may move on quickly to a new source of supply, flaunting it in a way designed to further wound you. Alternatively, if they sense they cannot win by discarding you in a way that hurts you, perhaps because you have already emotionally disengaged, they might adopt an air of complete indifference, acting as though you never mattered, as though the connection meant nothing. This is also a tactic to protect their fragile ego, to deny the impact you may have had, and to maintain their illusion of superiority. The hard truth is that whether it's a dramatic discard or a show of cold indifference, these are often last-ditch efforts by a wounded ego to have the final say, to maintain some semblance of control over the narrative, and to avoid facing their own emptiness or their inability to sustain a healthy connection with a strong, sovereign individual. Your strength, your resilience, your refusal to be broken has, in essence, made you an unsuitable source of narcissistic supply for them. While the discard or indifference can still be painful, especially if there were once genuine feelings involved, it is crucial to see it not as a reflection of your worth, but as a consequence of your strength. You were too strong for their games, too healthy for their dysfunction. The most empowering response is to accept this ending, whether it comes as a discard or as indifference, with as much grace as possible, to continue your own healing journey and to recognize that this severance, however it occurs, is ultimately a liberation, freeing you to seek and create connections that are built on a foundation of mutual respect, authenticity, and genuine care. Your unwavering self-possession, even in the face of their final maneuver, is the ultimate testament to the strength they could not break.